You know, the preseason is always a little bit challenging just because, you know, you haven't had the players the entire summer and you're trying to get them acclimated to the heat and you're trying to, you know, teach the young guys a new system and you've got all these new faces that are coming into the program. But I think it's been good so far. We have a lot of veterans back on the team. I think our older guys did a great job of mentoring the young guys over the summer. And most of our guys came back to camp really well prepared for the football season. And we've gotten a lot of good work in. I mean, we have a lot of good players back. We have some young faces that I'm hoping will be able to help us at least somewhere down the stretch during the season. And it's been a good preseason. I think we've been able to develop some good chemistry, and the guys have been working really, really hard. And overall, I've been really pleased. I feel probably as good as I've ever felt about the quarterback position. We've got a veteran quarterback back in Burke Estes, and you know Burke has been a starter really since the last part of his freshman year. Had a really good sophomore year, had a good year last year, and you know he knows the offense, he knows all the nuances of the offense, and has done a really good job of leading our football team. And then we've got a couple of other guys that are in contention for that number 2 spot, and you know I think they're going to push Burke by the time it's all said and done. But I feel really good about the 4 quarterbacks that we have right now that are really healthy. And they've done a really good job throughout the preseason, and I've seen great improvement in Andrew Ely from a year ago. Presley Egbers has had a really good camp. He's a freshman from Centerville, Virginia. And Nate Reese has also had a pretty good camp. So, you know, I've enjoyed working with those guys, and I think those guys have really improved since the start of camp and certainly since the previous season. So I'm pretty happy with the progress that we've made at that position. Yeah, I mean, Trey's the obvious one. Trey's back for a 5th year, so he's arguably the best running back that we've had here in a long, long time, and you know maybe one of the best guys that I've coached. He's very dynamic. He can do a lot of different things. I think we've got some question marks at the receiver position. Now the good thing is I think we've got a lot of talent in that group, but we're definitely going to have some new faces, and you know we may be more talented at receiver than we were last year or even the year before, but you know, they're going to be new faces that have to learn the system and have to get game experience. But I feel good about the skill that we have. We have Jake Wernold back on the offensive line. Jake's as good an offensive lineman as I've ever coached here. Connor Denning is another guy that has been a starter since his freshman year, and we're counting on big things from both of those guys. We're a little bit thinner up front than maybe we've been in the past, and so we're going to have to keep those guys healthy. But overall, I feel good about the guys that we have coming back. You know, we've got Sam Tanner coming back for a 4th year. He's going to be a senior this year, and he's been a mainstay in our offense. You know, great blocker, very, very good receiver. Robbie Owens is back, so you know I'm sure I'm missing a few guys, but for the most part, I think we've got a good group coming back. Yeah, defensively, we're really strong in the secondary. D'Angelo Barr is back at corner. D'Angelo's kind of bounced around. He started as a running back his freshman year, then we moved him to safety, and then finally put him at corner at the end of last year, and I thought he played really, really well against some of the better teams on our schedule. Stephen Richardson's going to be the other corner, and then, you know, of course, we've got Calvin Whitehead back. We've got Anthony Williams back. All those guys are really, really good football players, and I think we'll be a little bit better up front than we were last year. A lot of the guys that we played last year were young, and you know, some of those guys were inexperienced and just not ready to perform and not ready to play in games. But those guys have gotten a lot bigger and stronger in the off season, and you know, so I'm expecting that we're going to be better and stronger and deeper up front. We've got Brian Sullivan back at linebacker and Georgia Phillips back at the other spot. So I feel good about our defense. You know, I feel good about our offense. We lost some key players on both sides of the ball. Lost 24 seniors. I think what I'm most worried about is the leadership that we lost with that senior class. But, you know, it's going to be tough to replace Eric Hoy. It's going to be tough to replace Greg Castle on the offensive side of the ball. I think it's going to be really tough to replace Jonas Blanco, who arguably was the best defensive player in the league last year. And but we've got some pieces in place that, you know, can certainly help move us into that next or help us take that next step. You say it every year. It's a really tough league, and there are a lot of good football coaches in the league. And you know, since I've been in the league, it's become more and more. You know, there's always parity in the league. You know, you've got to be ready to play every week. I know. You know, I'm just uttering every cliche that you can utter about the league, but it's a challenging league, and there are a lot of good coaches and a lot of good players. And, we got knocked off by Ferrum last year towards the end of the year, and, it wasn't a game that we went into and took lightly. We had a lot of respect for them, and we tried to prepare for that game, and I think our players prepared for that game. So it wasn't like they surprised us. They just played really, really well and ended up beating us. So, I think that game in itself proves that, you have to be ready to play every single week. And, all the coaches do a great job of preparing their teams, and we have great respect for all of the teams that we have to play against every week.